Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the NCSL Dynasty here on NCAA 14, using that college football revamp. We are embroiled in the month of November here in this third season of the NCSL Dynasty, and you could pretend to be something in the month of September. That part can certainly be true, but when you get into November, when you get into those final moments of the season, as the great Zombieland movie once said, it's time to nut up or shut up. And today we are going to watch some teams nut up, and we're going to see some teams shut up as well, as some are chasing to go bowl eligible, some for a conference championship, and some for that ultimate prize, that is a national championship. So it's gonna be a fun episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, I need you guys to go ahead and do me a massive favor, smack that like button for me, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you are brand new to the channel, by the way. But let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So let's go ahead and get the week number 11 action officially underway. Getting things started out on the Tobacco Road. We got NC State taking on the Blue Devils of Duke, led by your head coach, PJ McNair, one of your guys' custom guys, as Duke is looking to get the opening points here in Durham, North Carolina, getting into their option wing T formation. Silva is going to take it to the outside, and he's going to be in untouched. Touchdown, Duke, and Sid Silva is going to get the Duke Blue Devils on the board. Duke will have a 7-0 lead, but late in the first quarter, North Carolina State will look to respond. Throwing it over the middle is Blake Fountain. He's going to connect with Ryan Foster for the first down, and it sets up a goal line situation for NC State. Trying to respond to the opening touchdown by Duke is Blake Fountain. He's going to keep it himself, and he's going to force his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Wolfpack. And we will have ourselves a tie ball game, all knotted up at 7 apiece, as North Carolina State eventually will actually take the lead in this little battle of Tobacco Road. So Duke needs a big drive themselves, as Sid Silva is going to pitch it out to the tailback. He's going to be able to break a tackle to the outside. One man to beat down the sideline. Oh, he can't get away from the last defender, but a big time run though. And Duke is officially in business on the doorsteps of the red zone. Silva again running the option. This time he's going to keep it himself, and he will nearly pick up the first down. An effective running performance for the Duke Blue Devils, as they already have over 100 rushing yards in the first half alone, but they're going to use the passing game to get them over the top as Kevin Nicholson finds the end zone. And we have ourselves a tie ball game for now. Let's see what Blake Fountain and company decides to do, as North Carolina State is going to just go ahead and run the halfback draw, and it runs beautifully, actually. Emmanuel Smith going to get to the outside, as NC State now at about midfield, as Blake Fountain this time will drop back the pass, throws it over to the right-hand side. That's completed to Ken Grant for the first down. And the Wolfpack will get to the line quickly, as they only have one timeout to work with. Oh, Blake Fountain almost got sacked there, but he's able to find Ben Brown at the very last second. Duke just trying to get reorganized, as NC State running their no-huddle offense. Fountain, plenty of time to throw, dumps it off to the left-hand side, and finds Grant Williams for another 11-yard gain. Now the Wolfpack find themselves in the red zone. Couple plays later, Fountain, he's going to try to throw this dot to the right-hand side to Mike Triengine. It is completed. How about that for the 10 toes down movement? First down for the Wolfpack, and it'll eventually end in a Wolfpack touchdown, and Blake Fountain is going to keep it in himself. So we have an exciting game to start this episode out here on the Tobacco Road, and it could go to the final whistle. 21-17 here's the score, as Duke does tack on a field goal before we do end up going into that halftime locker room. But NC State starts with the ball to begin the second half, and they drive it all the way inside the 10-yard line. And they will, I thought Maurice Davis had that touchdown, but the refs will mark him short at about the 1-yard line So now, first and goal yet again as Blake Fountain. He's going to keep it on the option. Nobody takes him on the pitch defense, and Blake Fountain is going to have his second rushing touchdown of the day. But Duke not giving up by any means. Down by 8. They're going to call a pitch play on 4th and 1, and it works to perfection. Jeremy Alvarez, one of the fullbacks, is going to be all by himself. And they just need this 2-point conversion all of a sudden to keep a tie ball game. And look who does it. Vince Justice will score for the Duke Blue Devils. So all knotted up with 6:44 remaining in the ball game. As now, Fountain with plenty of time looks over the middle and finds Ken Grant for the touchdown. The Wolfpack looks like they could be well on their way to their 5th win of the season. As it's not looking good for the Duke Blue Devils. They are going to need a stop here in the red zone. They haven't been able to do it all day today thus far. Second down. Fountain looks over the middle of the field and finds Ben Brown for the first down inside the 5-yard line. And just inches away from putting this game away. And they will with Kenny Simon. Durham, North Carolina is going to be following silent here as they look forward to basketball season. The Duke Blue Devils will fall 42-35 in what was an exciting start to Week 11 action. But we have more Thursday night content coming your way, as these are all Thursday night games that are coming your way. The Bedlam game between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State getting ready to kick off here as Oklahoma seeks their 6th win of the year in order to get that bowl eligibility. Cowboys trying to keep their hopes alive, but they'll need to win at least 3 of their next 4 games in order to get those same qualifications. As we'll go ahead and see a nice run up the middle by Brandon Henderson. And Brandon Henderson will go ahead and almost pick up the first down. It'll make this a very manageable 3rd down situation for Oklahoma, who goes in the 5 wide as Josh Daniels finds himself open on the underneath. And is able to move the sticks. First and goal coming up for the Sooners. As Oklahoma will drop back. Looks over the middle of the field. And finds Mike Nolan in the back of the end zone. Touchdown Sooners. And that's just the type of game that it has been. A tight one that could go both ways. But both teams trying to make big plays right now. As the Sooners look to take control here in Bedlam. Looking over the middle and finds his man. No, it's dropped. Wow, the pass is dropped. You absolutely hate to see it, especially since we find ourselves in the 4th quarter and still only a 2-point game. So Oklahoma, I'm sure they would prefer to punch this into the end zone right now so that they could potentially try to put this game away. Second and goal coming up is going to be a big goal line stand required from the Cowboys. And that goal line stand is never going to come. So Oklahoma gets the touchdown, but then Oklahoma State scores off screen. So it's the Cowboys that have a chance to actually come out and pull this off. They just need to get into field goal range. They have plenty of time to do just that. 3rd and short coming up. Lou Munoz is going to look over the middle of the field and finds Barbatube Williams for the first down. So here we go inside the 30-yard line. Oklahoma State running down the clock, but Munoz still deciding to pass. Finds a receiver over the middle, and it's a first down to Josh Chase, the former FCS transfer. And the Cowboys now safe in field goal range, but they're going to put it away right now with Reggie Reed. No relation to the adult actress. Touchdown, Cowboys. And they're even going to go for the 2-point conversion as well. Munoz looks over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. But that will not be necessary, though, as the Cowboys pull it off against the Sooners, 30-26. That being said, though, we have more. Yes, even more Thursday night content coming your way. Mississippi State taking on Kentucky, as both teams are having solid seasons. Not a liquid or a gas either. Both are looking to improve their standings and maybe sneak their way back into this top 25 or get into the top 25 in the first place. You never know. But 3rd and goal coming up. Kentucky looking to take the lead, and they will, courtesy of Jay Bowling, who will find the end zone. So 7-0 is now your score as we jump late into the first quarter. Looking over to the left-hand side. What a dot to Steven Berg for a huge touchdown. Bulldogs are now all knotted up, but then a quick turnover deep in Kentucky territory gives them beautiful position, and Jeremy Baldwin is going to take full advantage of that. Mississippi State is going to have the lead for the first time today, and the way that they're moving this ball up and down the field like a marching band at the Macy Day Parade, they're just keeping it rolling, as Mississippi State has been absolutely a juggernaut in this particular game thus far. Kentucky going to have its hands full if they want to just get back into this game, let alone try to win this thing in the first place, as Kentucky wants to score for the first time since their opening drive, and they finally will midway through the third quarter, but they're going to need some stops in their defense, and it's going to start in the red zone here. Yes, another red zone opportunity for Mississippi State, who throws over the middle and finds Stephen Berg, who does have that touchdown from earlier in the game. As now, 1st and 10 coming up. Baldwin in the shotgun formation. Got 4 wide set. Baldwin with plenty of time. Throws over the middle and finds Allen Wright for the first down. Able to move it for a gain of 11. So now, 1st and goal coming up for Mississippi State, as they'll run it up the middle with John Hove, who's going to score for the Bulldogs. And Mississippi State in complete control. Looking to finish it off here in Starkville, Mississippi. Baldwin looks again to the left-hand side, throws, and finds Stephen Berg, who has been an absolute menace here in the red zone today. We'll see if they go back to Stephen Berg, as Baldwin will again attempt another pass, looks over to the left-hand side, and finds, guess who it is, Stephen Berg, who has been absolutely crucifying the Kentucky secondary on the way to a big win for Mississippi State. So now we have ourselves our first top 25 matchup. We're now actually getting into the Saturday games. Early kickoff here. This would be like a 9:30 kickoff on the Pacific Coast, but it doesn't matter. This crowd is all amped up. Hawaii, ranked Hawaii, going on the road and taking on an equally ranked USC squad in a battle of top 20 teams in the Pac-12 conference. And yes, kids, the Pac-12 will still exist in this game, and in our little Dynasty universe, money will not get in the way of Pac-12 craziness, as UCLA late in the first quarter will get the first points on the board, as Brian Daniels will start with a 10-0 run. But when you think of the Pac-12, you think of a lot of offense, but we don't really get a lot of offense in this game, to be honest with you, even though it seemed like that was going to be the case in the first quarter. This was really a big game for the defenses, if anything else, and it starts with that fumble recovery. Hawaii was going to have their biggest play of the game. It was going to be a good 30-yard gain. That was a dot, but no one's going to remember the dot when you put the ball on the ground like that. So Brian Daniels and company, they'll have a chance to extend the lead even further, but the Hawaii secondary, they are actually going to be standing tall, and they're going to be able to force a turnover themselves. Leslie Atkins is going to be responsible for that particular interception, even broke a couple of tackles in order to try to create a little bit of space, but you can't win if you can't score any points, and that's what happened to Hawaii here today. They simply could not score at all. UCLA wins a defensive struggle out on the West Coast. The Bruins will end up winning 13-0. So we now have a couple of games that are going to be happening at the same time. Most notably, we have number 23 Navy, who's coming off a big win against Notre Dame in the previous episode. We'll check on them later. Right now, we got some Mountain West action between Colorado State and Utah. The Utes looking for their 7th win and trying to earn themselves the opportunity to be ranked in the top 25. They're not even so much as receiving votes right now, so they're just trying to have some respect put on their name. But it's hard to do that when you're going to be trailing against a sub-500 Colorado State team, right? It's hard to make that happen. But that being said, 3.5 minutes left to play. Utah does have the chance to go ahead and take the lead. It just comes down to red zone execution. 2nd and short coming up, as it's going to be a play action. Looking around, he's going to actually keep it for himself. Gets through one defender. Willie Bradford will be dropped just outside of the goal line. It will set up a 1st and goal opportunity. Bradford in the shotgun yet again, but it's going to be a handoff to the tailback, Robert Harper, who's going to score for Utah. And the Utes will also go ahead and go for the 2-point conversion as Bradford looks over the middle, misses his receiver. And we'll take this time now to get a studio update out on the West Coast as well, as San Diego State hangs on and beats Washington State, which is the same thing that Utah does, ultimately hangs on and beats a much inferior Colorado State squad. Now, that being said, let's check in on the other game that happened around the same time. It's number 23 Navy taking on Rutgers. Both these teams are in the hunt to win the Union Division in Conference USA, as we have an interception on our hands. Down the sideline is our first touchdown going to be a defensive one. Yes, it is. No flags on the play, and Rutgers will take the lead, but will look to extend the lead towards the end of the first quarter, as they will have a goal line opportunity when we get into that second quarter of action. We'll see if Rutgers can go ahead and punch it in. Couple of plays later, going to be a toss play to the left-hand side. He's got no one on the outside to chase him down, as Chris Merriman will score for Rutgers. Touchdown, Scarlet Knights. And Rutgers has a 14-0 lead against the number 24 ranked Navy Midshipmen. But this is not your daddy's or even your grandfather's Navy squad. This team actually does not treat the pass play like a trick play. They actually will spread it out. And Adam Parks, to his credit, he can certainly dime you up if given the opportunity to do so. So here we go, goal line opportunity. 3rd and goal coming up, as they will actually keep. Adam Parks is going to keep it himself. Touchdown, Navy. And the Midshipmen pull to within 1 possession. We'll see if Navy can tie it here late in the first half. Parks in the 5-wide set, looks over to the right-hand side. He's got a receiver down the sideline, able to get out of bounds. We do also have a backup receiver. That's Spencer Grant. He's the backup quarterback that also plays wide receiver, getting valuable playing time for the future. We'll see if 16 has his name called later. Parks, though, is looking to try to throw it over the middle. He's going to find Larry Robertson for the first down, as Navy will have to use their timeouts now. They will have 1 timeout remaining, but down by the goal line, they're going to use the mobility of Adam Parks. And Adam Parks is going to be the one that will go ahead and punch it in. Touchdown, Navy! And it just goes to show how competitive these two teams are. This is a possible Conference USA championship bid on the line right now. And they both won it in the worst way. Parks looking for the lead late in the game. Parks drops back. He's going to keep it himself, and Navy scores again. They'll take the lead with 7:21 left to play in the ball game. And now Rutgers has a chance to respond. A field goal could do it for the tie, but he wants more than the tie and gets it. What a dime by Adam West. Rutgers with the lead. But Navy has the ball last. Will Navy seal the win? And no, they won't. They will not be able to do it. Another turnover by Navy, and the 3rd and final one was costly, as Rutgers pulls the upset on the Navy Midshipmen. Oh boy, we got some studio updates for you here, though, as we progress through the NCSL week. Nevada's going to pull one out against Oregon State 35-31. Nevada having a above average season as they're able to win their 7th game in the year. Meanwhile, Memphis pulls the upset out of Tulane 21-17. So we'll likely see Memphis back in the top 25, effectively kicking Tulane out. As we'll have one more studio update. Ohio State was actually on upset alert in this game, but Ohio State finds a way to barely pull it out. They beat the Golden Flashes 24-19, as the Buckeyes are 8-1. So we continue to progress through the NCSL week, as we now have number 7 Florida State back here in Tallahassee, Florida. They'll be taking on the Knights of UCF, looking to see if they can get a big win here in SEC action. This would be a huge win for UCF. They're able to somehow pull it off. Florida State, meanwhile, looking to stay in the SEC title race, or at the very least keep themselves in that hunt for a wild card bid, as there's only 2 wild card spots. So winning your conference is important. It's hard out here for an at-large, but Florida State's going to find a way to try to make it happen, though, as Ty Gold is going to score for Florida State. The Seminoles will have the lead, but UCF will look to try to tie it back here late in the first half. As Adam Flowers, man, can that man fly like an eagle. Adam Flowers will end up picking up the first down there. So now looking at a 1st and goal situation, as UCF's going to have a little bit of motion. Going to be a triple option in the spread. Has to beat for one defender and runs him over. Robert down. Oh, baby, you did not have to do that, boy, like that. And now it's a tie ball game. Florida State now on upset alert. As how is that interception made? Oh, my. Quarterback Daryl Boniford, he simply cannot believe it. He is down horrendous in this first half. You saw the stat line, 6 for 19. Ugly out here in these streets. But UCF will look to take advantage of the turnovers. They will try to take the lead before we go into the halftime locker room. Only 1 minute left, though, as Adam Flowers is in the shotgun, fakes the screen pass, wants to throw over the middle, and I don't know what he was looking at, but it was a terrible idea throwing off the back foot like that. But there's a flag. Is it on the defense? It looks like it's a clipping penalty, but it was on the interception. So Florida State will be brought back half the distance to the goal, but the interception will still stand, and therefore Florida State tie ball game against UCF. But good thing the Seminoles will get the ball to start the second half, because when I show special teams, you already know someone's about to go down, and it almost does. Almost return all the way back, cross the 50-yard line as well. And Florida State will look to take advantage, trying to build some momentum off of the huge kickoff return. Got to come away with points on this particular drive for sure, as the Seminoles will be looking at a 2nd and short now coming up, as Boniford is going to hand it on to the tailback, who's going to follow his blocks and is able to get across the 5-yard line, looking at a very short 1st and goal. As the scoreboard, we're having a little bit of a scoreboard malfunction. I know that there's a way to fix this. It's been a minute, though, so if you want to let me know in the comment section how to get by the scoreboard glitch without actively restarting, that would be fantastic. But that being said, though, Adam Flowers is going to throw over the middle, and that's going to be caught for a 1st down. So UCF will actually have a chance to tie this game late in the 3rd quarter. But then on the very next play, though, Adam Flowers, he thought he had an open slant, but it's going to be taken away at the very last second. Oh, that is a nice diving interception. Some would say that would be a clutch interception as well. And Florida State now has a chance to go ahead, put this game away, as they put together a lengthy drive that takes up nearly half of the quarter, right? That is impressive to do. And sure enough, they will punch it in a couple of plays later. That is their fullback that's going to be able to dive into the end zone right there, right now. So Seminoles looking that they're going to be A-okay. But UCF is certainly not going to give up, though. 1st and 10 coming up. Adam Flowers is going to go ahead and scramble out of the pocket. He's taking a lot of hits. I'm surprised he didn't put that ball on the ground, but going to be looking at a 2nd and short. But that clock is still running, though, and time is of the essence. Flowers actually does get hurt on that play, so the backup quarterback is actually in, and Jamal Murphy is going to mess around and nearly get his 1st touchdown of the game. Coming in relief, trying to make some checks at the line. Murray looks over the middle and finds Stanley Montgomery. That is some poise, but hey, it's just a little too late, as Florida State is going to be able to hang on and win this game. So we have a couple of more games coming up now, as we have most notably number 1 Miami, who controls their own destiny in terms of SEC championship aspirations and that college football playoff too. Well, they are taking on a Florida Atlantic team that really needs to do anything and everything possible in order to just win out and make sure so that they can just get to a bowl game, right? And it looks like early on, it seems like Miami is going to do what Miami normally does. They're going to, probably toy with Florida Atlantic and then go from there. But Florida Atlantic, nobody handed them the assignment that this should essentially be, one of these easy peasy games, because Florida Atlantic, they came to play. Matter of fact, they came to play so much as the Owls have a 10-point lead in the second half. This is now going to be a huge upset if Fort Atlantic can hang on and win this thing, as FAU finds itself in the red zone once again, as they're going to throw a quick screen to the left, breaks a tackle, it's a race to the end zone, and Jaron Hicks wins. The FCS transfer finds the end zone, touchdown Owls, and Miami is in deep trouble now, down by 20 points. Nobody let Uncle Sam's Rejects know what's happening here. Do not show him this video. He would be distraught seeing his team lose of FAU, and we will have a new #1 team in the nation. So that being said, we'll go over to, I guess, sort of the West Coast, actually going to that Lone Star State. Everything bigger in Texas, even the ego. But not a lot of ego here at Texas A&M, though. They still have not won a single game this entire season. And they will be hosting Baylor here at home. Starting to see a lot of empty seats in Kyle Field. So maybe it's time for a new regime change in terms of coaching staff at Texas A&M. Because, I mean, like, there's too much resources at Texas A&M to be this bad of a football team. That's just really what it barrels down to. But that being said, Baylor is still in a close one with Texas A&M. No Wes Jordan. That is one of your guys' customs. He's the starting quarterback of this team. He's actually out, so we'll see Ron Davis instead, who is doing perfectly fine running the offense, except Baylor's going for it on 4th down, and Gabe Peterson is going to be able to go ahead and punch it in. So Baylor now extends the lead and could open it up here before we get into halftime, as Ron Davis hands it off to the tailback, Gabe Peterson, who gets him inside the 5-yard line. Baylor does have to scramble those. They do only have one timeout. Davis looking to score towards the end of the first half, and he does! Touchdown, Baylor! And the Baylor Bears will be taking it to Texas A&M. Kyle Field, you could hear a mouse fart in this stadium right now. That is how quiet Kyle Field is. Imagine that. As now Baylor has another goal line opportunity. This would give Baylor a 25-point lead. And Lee Hicks is going to score. Baylor is going to get this win against Texas A&M, as the Aggies, with only a few games left, they're still winless. So, that being said, we have another big-time matchup, though. Hopefully, this game is actually a little bit more competitive. Alabama is going to be taking on LSU, as Alabama comes in ranked number 8 in the entire country. LSU ranked number 12. But this is a big-time matchup for the Sun Belt Conference. LSU needing this win to keep pace with the Raging Cajuns for that Bayou Division title. Right now, Alabama does control their own destiny. As long as they win a couple more Sun Belt games, they should be going to that Sun Belt title game. This game beats more for LSU, though, as they're going to be a throw over the middle. It's going to be caught for a huge play. That's Clayton Stevenson, who will ultimately get LSU in the red zone. Brown dropping back, looks to the left-hand side and finds Travis Franklin for the touchdown. And on the opening drive, the LSU Tigers will make sure that the Bayou is rocking, and Death Valley is going to be death for this road team if Alabama can't get it together. But it's still a close game, even that touchdown. Alabama using a bunch of field goals to keep in this game. Imagine Alabama with an elite kicker, right? But LSU is going to try to pull away quickly, though, as Derek Brown is going to open it up to Damian Morton, as Brown throws a dime. And my, was this a big-time throw as well. In stride, and allows Morton to pull away. Touchdown, LSU. And the Tigers will go ahead and extend their lead. But Alabama looks to answer back with 30 seconds left in the half. Dropping back. Bama wants to score. Throws the right-hand side. And it's going to be intercepted. Did not take the check down. And that could haunt him later on. As, Alabama could use that touchdown there. So, still an 8-point game as we get midway into the third quarter. Crimson Tide are looking for a chance to get actual points, but these critical mistakes. Just critical mistakes made by that quarterback. LSU, Seth Smith is going to make him pay for the errant throw as Matt Burchard throws the second interception of the day. So now LSU will take over, and Derek Brown looking for a big play down the field. That was a one-handed grab by Damian Morton. Oh my! Damian Morton is a certified bad man. And so is Derek Brown, who breaks one tackle. He breaks another one. And it's now a foot race down the sideline. Breaks a third tackle. Brown can't get in. I am speechless with the willpower of Derek Brown. And it's now looking like a goal line opportunity. All of a sudden, play action. Brown looking to finish the drive. He wants to scramble. Can he get away for the one? The two? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Derek Brown. And the LSU Tigers will extend the lead against the Crimson Tide of Alabama. LSU have a 24-9 lead as Burchard looking for another score. They have to score quickly. Burchard will provide it to them as Carl Willis will haul that one into the end zone. A tough day for Matt Burchard. But that being said, Alabama just needs that 2-point conversion, and it will be a one-possession game without having to worry about another 2-point conversion later on. Burchard looks over the middle, finds Carl Willis, and Alabama just goes ahead and makes this a 7-point game. Boy, do you wish that Matt Burchard did not throw that interception in the end zone earlier. This could have been a tie game. Instead, Alabama needs the onside kick, and it's going to be recovered by Travell Bankston, the custom wide receiver. And LSU from there will be able to go ahead and run out the clock. LSU will keep itself in the Bayou Division hunt with a critical 24-17 victory. But we will take a quick break from conference actions. We have a little bit of a non-conference game. Yes, this is actually a non-conference game. You know them at Vanderbilt is an SEC team, but Vanderbilt is actually in the MAC. And Vanderbilt's actually having a solid season. They're 5-3, but, you know, Georgia is a little bit of a different animal as Georgia comes in ranked number 14 in the country. As we'll go ahead and see what Georgia can do here with that 17-0 lead, as Elliott Hartman will get it pretty close to the goal line after that 9-yard reception. We'll see if Alabama can punch it into the end zone now, as we got a quarterback dropping back. He's going to keep it himself. Makes a couple of defenders miss, and Andre Bryant finds the end zone. Touchdown, Dogs. So Georgia already has a pretty sizable lead up on Vanderbilt 24-0 as Andre Bryant wants to extend it. Has all the time in the world, but he throws an interception. Vanderbilt has a chance to return this all the way back. One man left a beat. He's going to be gone. We're going to go with a country song. Unless there's any flags, there's going to be a touchdown for the Commodores of Vanderbilt. As Vandy also going to go for the 2-point conversion. They want to make this just a 2-score game. It's going to be rolling out to the left-hand side, and Vanderbilt scores. Vandy is back in this game, but Georgia will not let the good times last long. It's on the very next drive. Georgia already gets it down into the red zone. Less than 2 minutes left to play. Georgia wants the 30-piece before halftime. Bryant fires. It's a one-handed grab. Touchdown, Georgia! And the Bulldogs will dominate Vanderbilt after all. 61-22 your final score. So we have some more studio updates coming your way, as do Mexico in a shootout with UNLV, as the Lobos do find a way to pull it out, winning 45-35. The Lobos are now officially bowl eligible. And then in other news, more Mountain West action. Colorado able to beat Arizona 35-23 as Colorado is able to get back to above 500. So we have some more games that are going to be coming your way. 5 games to be exact for the late night cap. Multiple top 25 teams going into action, with most notably number 6 Cal hosting the Ducks of Oregon. The biggest disappointment of year number 3, starting in the top 25. They might miss a bowl game. But first, what we will go ahead and do is we will have Wyoming on the road taking on the number 10 ranked USC Trojans. And it's actually Wyoming that will go ahead and draw that first blood. Led by Carl Nicholson, their quarterback. Wyoming will get the first points, but they actually missed the extra point, though. I don't know how you pull that off, and I don't know how you can call that a touchdown. Nick Richards looks like he was well short, but the refs still give it to him. They don't even review it either, which is absolutely crazy to me. But Carl Nicholson will score yet again for the Cowboys of Wyoming, and Wyoming will score. They will actually get the extra point this time. But with 2 minutes left to play in the first half, Carl Nicholson will try to lead Wyoming down the length of the field, and he'll connect with Michael Castillo for the first down. Castillo having a big first half, nearly 100 yards, as Wyoming will again go 5-wide set, get some good protection as we get a nice throw over in the middle to Alan Bracken. Alan Bracken will pick it up for 18 yards. And again, we're looking at a 1st and 10 as Wyoming continues to march down the length of the field, dumps it off, gets it out to the right-hand side, and Matt Blake, the FCS transfer, will pick up the first down as Wyoming is in scoring position. Looking to finish the job, though. Looking over the middle, finds Matt Blake, the FCS transfer, in the end zone, and Wyoming is going to have USC on upset alert, especially after this run late in the third quarter, as Adam Hunter is still able to find his way to stay on his feet. So Wyoming looking to hold on and beat the number 10 ranked USC Trojans. But Ben Scott, he's not looking to take that kindly as USC dumps it off and finds Terrell Salas, who's able to will his way into the end zone. Touchdown, USC. So a 7-point game coming up as Wyoming still up by a touchdown, but the Trojans have an opportunity to tie late in the first half. Is this going to be a big run over the middle of the field to Nick Richard? 24 yards. And USC suddenly in business and just outside the red zone. Scott, again, looking to run the ball. He's going to keep it himself this time, though, on the option. And now USC finds himself in the red zone, deep into upset alert. They must score in order to keep this game going bare minimum. 4th and down. They must pick up at least 7. They can't bring him down in the backfield. And Terrell Salas is able to get out of it. Oh, it was so close. But yet so far. And USC, a couple plays later, they will punch it in with Nick Richards, who gets the touchdown. And Wyoming cannot move the ball down the field, so USC will have a chance with 18 seconds left. One timeout. Throws over the middle of the field and finds Anthony Johnson for the first down. But because they are in late in the game, one timeout, Ben Scott's going to get his guys to the line. Wyoming looks a little bit discombobulated. Scott is going to snap the ball here with less than 10 seconds left. Looks over the right-hand side. It's open! USC is going to storm back and take down the Wyoming Cowboys. Oh my goodness. Wyoming had the jaws of victory snatched from them as USC gets 21 unanswered to win the football game. So we now go into the battle of the Beehive Boot as BYU, who comes in 3-5, is going to be taking on the 1-8 Utah State Aggies. We saw BYU in the previous episode in the Holy War. And now we'll see this being a battle of essentially the second best team in Utah. You could do with what you want with that information, but you know we got to show a little bit of love to those rivalry games out there. As Utah State is looking to tie the game early in the second quarter, and the Aggies will go ahead, go with the read option, break the tackle, and Robert Burton will find his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Utah State, and the Aggies will tie this game up. However, less than 2 minutes left to play in the first half as Utah State has a chance to go ahead and possibly take the lead, but they're going to need to put together a pretty strong drive as they start deep in their own territory. They do pick up the first down on that run. We'll see if they stick to the run game. They don't. Got some time in the pocket. It's going to throw over to the left-hand side and throws it up in the coverage. Intercepted. And Utah State turns the ball over, giving BYU an opportunity to all of a sudden come out and take the lead themselves, which they will. Will Wilson with the score, a 29-yard strike. So BYU now up 14-7 as Utah State comes back out onto the field yet again, trying to tie the game up here in Logan, Utah. Looking around, looks over to the right-hand side. He's got an open man. It's John Hunter. If only Hunter was able to stay on his feet, he could have had a walk-in touchdown. Instead, Utah State's going to have to try to march down the field with one timeout. Looking over to the left-hand side, but throws it late. Another interception thrown. And BYU will have the lead actually going into the fourth quarter. End up skipping the third quarter because there really wasn't anything of note that happened in that particular quarter. But BYU has a chance to effectively go ahead and put this game away, and looks like they might do that. BYU throwing to the tailback and forces his way in, so BYU will score and win this game, winning 24-7 ultimately, as the Cougars will get closer to that coveted bowl eligibility. So that being said, we now have some action happening around the country as we skip to the fourth quarter. Notre Dame in that crushing defensive struggle. Notre Dame ranked number 21 in the country, but they are certainly not looking like the number 21 team in the nation right now, as they are having a fight for their lives against the Illinois Fighting Illini. But Notre Dame is on the verge of taking the lead here in the fourth quarter, though, as Greg Hunt has his guys down at the 1 yard line. We'll see what they go with. There's going to be a run up the gut for Ben Bentley, and Ben Bentley will be able to stay on his feet, and he will score. Notre Dame will take the lead and looking to put Illinois away, but the Fighting Illini might have something to say about it. 1 minute left to play. Throwing over the middle, finds his receiver for the first down. Surprisingly not going that quickly, though, or using their timeouts. They have all their free timeouts, too. Might be using it just in case they don't get the ball back, which now that's going to come into play as Andre Dudd is going to score for Illinois. So they have to get this 2-point conversion, though. It's vital to pick it up, and it looks like, hang on now, there's a scramble for it. It's going to be recovered by Illinois. So Notre Dame has been outgained, but they still have the lead. That's going to be put to the test. The defense on the brink, and they just need a field goal, too, to force overtime. But on the very next play, what do we get? We get an interception. So Notre Dame, unless something really crazy happens, they are just barely going to survive. And the Fighting Illini will fall just short on the road. Notre Dame will still be ranked after all. But now we have some more rivalry game action, specifically over in the Conference USA. Syracuse, who went to the college football playoff in year number 1, they will be hosting Boston College. Boston College is just sitting at 500 at the moment. But Boston College looking to have that kind of stretch that is going to get them to a much nicer bowl game, to say the least. They actually have a pretty nice lead over Syracuse, but it's one of those games at the same time where Boston College had a bunch of red zone possessions, but they only turned into field goals. Except that one right there, Mike Brooks will score for Boston College. Syracuse will eventually score, but the offense for Syracuse was essentially a no-show. And honestly, when your defense is on the field for the vast majority of the game, truly, it can only do so much. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened here. Boston College was eventually able to go ahead and wear down Syracuse. And Boston College will end up getting over 500 after all, taking down Syracuse on the road 26-7. So the last game that we have going is Oregon on the road against number 6, California. California, they're going to need some help from Washington to make it to the Pac-12 title game, but for all intents and purposes, they are very deep in the hunt to get that one of those 2 wildcard spots at the end of the season. But that being said, though, Cal is in a tight one against Oregon. Oregon has not won a single conference game yet here in year number 3, but we have a tied game at 0. Yes, no points have been scored in this entire game yet. And suddenly in this last minute, we're starting to see some signs of life from these offenses. Cal looking to drop back the pass. Is looking for the first points of the game. Is finally going to get it with 35 seconds left in the first half. Tim Greer just wide butt naked open on the post pattern. I don't know how someone could be that open, but Oregon now is down 7-0 as the Oregon Ducks will look to answer back as they'll throw to the right-hand side to Brian Stevens, who picks up the first down and gets out of bounds too, so does save the timeouts Ducks still have 2 timeouts remaining as this quarterback is going to decide to scramble all of a sudden. Oregon, do they pick up the first down? They do with Thomas Gibson. Now they will use a timeout after all, but facing a 3rd and long though. Dropping back, Gibson throws to the left-hand side, and it's just barely a first down. And it sets up this Hail Mary opportunity because it's outside of field goal range. Gibson has time, fires, caught! Wes Holly is going to score for the Oregon Ducks, and we will be tied at the half after all. And it was through this first half. We start to see a little bit more life from both of these offenses, actually, as Trey Price is going to pick up the first down. Cal with ironically their first red zone opportunity of the entire day, and it will lead to a California touchdown. So the Cal Bears will once again have the lead late in this 3rd quarter. But Oregon will look to respond quickly, though. Few plays later, Gibson gets Oregon into the red zone. He's going to scramble, gets away from the California pass rush, and Gibson fighting and clawing with his fingernails to get to the goal line. He'll be a few yards short, though. And then on that last play of the 3rd quarter with a chance to tie, Gibson fires over the middle and finds his receiver. Touchdown, Oregon. So we have a good game on our hands. Cal officially on upset alert. They're down by 6. So we're going to need a touchdown because nothing else will help them at this point in the game. Trey Price is going to pick up the first down to get California into a goal line situation. And on that 3rd and goal, Cal is going to hand it off over the middle to Trey Price. And Price is going to score. Cal will take a lead with the extra points. So Oregon needs to get into field goal range. And if they don't get a field goal or any points on the drive, this game is going to be over. 2 seconds left, so this is going to be the last play of the game. Gibson already has 1 Hail Mary. Can he get 2? He does! Chris Gentry with a 40-yard touchdown. And the custom recruits with the game-winning score. They'll even go for the 2-point conversion, which is completely unnecessary. But Oregon will upset Cal 28-21. That will certainly shake things up. But now let's go and take a look around America to check on some other box scores that, hey, maybe they might have fallen between the cracks a little bit. Northern Illinois wins this game 41-31 in a shootout, but that's not the story here. The real story here is that the Huskies are now in the top 25. They are now officially ranked number 25 in the country. With that impressive 7-2 record, they're going to need a little bit of help to get to the MAC championship, but they are still having an excellent season in that Northern Illinois football team. But unfortunately, a team that enters in, which means a team had to come out, and Nebraska is the team to come out. They get shocked in conference play by Iowa State. The Cyclones of Iowa State win 31-24, which means Nebraska losing their first conference game in the American Conference, and not only that, they are no longer a part of the top 25 as well. But Northern Illinois wasn't the only team to get back into the top 25, as the Rebels fell out after a shocking loss to Troy a couple of episodes ago. That has been rectified as Ole Miss wins against Minnesota 42-28. Ole Miss is back in the top 25, ranked number 23 in the country. Meanwhile, the Black Knights of Army continue an excellent season for this military academy. The Army Black Knights are now 9-0 on this season and are looking like a sure-in to at least go to the Conference USA Championship thanks to a 38-24 victory over the Panthers of Pitt, who are simply fighting just to be bowl eligible. As for the Tigers of Missouri, they look like a team that could find its way to the American Conference Championship, as Missouri beats Kansas State in dominating fashion 49-7, as Missouri continues to climb in the AP Top 25 polls. As for Michigan, the Michigan Wolverines also remain undefeated behind the guiding arm of FM4. FM4 leads Michigan to a 59-13 victory. The Hoosiers are still searching desperately for that first win of the season. Dolan Barrett, one of your guys' custom coaches, is also on this staff. As for the Clemson Tigers, Clemson continues its excellent season as well. They had a close game, though, against Appalachian State, but the Mountaineers didn't have enough in the tank to finish it off in the second half. Clemson narrowly survives, winning 34-31 in conference play. Meanwhile, the Rice of Owls continue to climb into the top 20, and they do this by beating Tulsa 31-21. Tulsa also searching for their first win of the season, and it's becoming less likely that they'll finish the year with a single win on their schedule this year. But a good win for Rice to maintain the focus. Speaking of focus, Texas remains undefeated, proving that, hey, they should have been invited to that college football playoff last year. Texas dominates UTEP 37-7, and Texas now climbs deeper into that top 5, now considered the number 2 team in America. You want to talk about a shocker, though? We certainly have one in the Sun Belt Conference. The Raging Cajuns dropped their second game in a row as they lose 27-10. And now, because of this result, the Bayou Division is very suddenly up for grabs, where just a couple of weeks ago, it seems like the Raging Cajuns did have this on lock. But there will be a new number 1 team in the nation, and to kind of spoil things for a little bit later, Washington is that team, actually. Huskies win in a shootout, 58-31, as the Huskies continue to remain undefeated, while Fresno State drops their 5th game of the season. Tennessee is also another team that will be getting some top 25 consideration, and boy, did they have a blowout on their hands. They completely destroyed Louisville 52-14, as Tennessee also on that fast track to win the Blues division of the MAC Conference. Tennessee is 6-0 in conference play, which is where all of their wins have came from this season. And finally, we had the shootout of the ages over in the Sun Belt, but one team had to win, and Southern Miss is that team that just barely survives. The Golden Eagles are winners here, 52-49, as Southern Miss is now eligible to go to a bowl game here in year number 3. So as mentioned before, we did have quite a bit of change in the top 25, so we'll go ahead and check in on that at a deeper level here. We'll start with Florida State, now a top 5 team, as they were able to find a way to beat Central Florida, despite not having maybe their A game in that one. Ohio State doing the same thing, barely beating Kent State, but they move up a few spots. LSU gets rewarded for beating Alabama, and because of that, they move up 5 spots to number 7. They're the best 2-loss team in America right now. USC, they also get a little bit of love, as does UCLA. The LA schools getting into the top 10, both getting close wins, some in conference play, some in non-conference play, but both had some close wins. Georgia is going to wrap up your top 10 as they dominate Vanderbilt, as they are trying to solidify their position in the top 25. Now, outside the top 25, we have Alabama, who only moves a few spots down. I thought this was very reasonable, considering it was a close game against LSU. Florida, they were on bye and still moved up 4 spots. Cal moves down 7 spots. They were penalized heavily because of the fact that they lose to Oregon, and an Oregon team is still not ranked, so that tells you everything you need to know. App State gave Clemson everything that we had. We talked about this in the box scores update, but Clemson still won. Miami, oh boy, did Miami plummet. This is a tough one. Miami moves down 14 spots to number 15 in the country, and now Miami really going to need to win the SEC championship this year if they want to go to the college football playoff, as they're probably going to be out of the range of that ability to get those 2 wildcard spots, even in an expanded 12-team field. Now, bottom half of the top 25, you got Missouri at 16, dominating Kansas State. Notre Dame barely beats Illinois, but they move up 4 spots because of some chaos that happens around them. Raging Cajuns, at one point ranked in the top 5, they fall to number 18 in the nation. They'll have a top 25 matchup against Memphis. That's going to have some implications for that Bayou division. And then, rounding out your group, you got Southern Miss at 19, Rice at number 20 in the country. Hawaii is still in here. They are ranked at number 21 in the country. Tennessee, the Volunteers, up a few spots. Ole Miss, we talked about them being back in. Same with Memphis, pulling off that upset against Tulane during a studio update nonetheless. And then, of course, there's the Huskies of Northern Illinois, ranked in the top 25 in the country now. So we certainly saw some massive upsets happen in this episode, as well as some close calls, and that's the beautiful thing about November. You really don't know what's going to happen in this final month of the season, and we'll dive deeper into that in the next episode, as we'll have Week 12 content coming your way next time out. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. If you did, I highly encourage you to go ahead, smack that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J. Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.